Nestled deep in the Pacific Northwest, Harlow Creek is the kind of town most people drive through without stopping. Population just under 400. A logging community wrapped in Douglas fir and perpetual fog, where the mornings arrive gray and the evenings disappear early. The same surnames appear on mailboxes that appeared on them 40 years ago. Neighbors wave without needing to know why. Children grow up, and some of them stay, because leaving feels like a kind of betrayal. Nothing dramatic happens here. Nothing much happens at all. It is the sort of place that exists quietly, reliably, like background noise you stop noticing after a while. That is exactly what makes it the right place to begin. Because ordinary places, it turns out, are not immune to extraordinary things. The date is October 14th, 1997. The last night anyone saw Mara Voss alive. On the evening of October 14th, 1997, Mara Voss was last seen at the Harlow Creek General Store at approximately 8:47 in the evening. She was 34 years old, a school teacher, and by all accounts completely unremarkable in that moment. She purchased 3 items: a carton of milk, a pack of batteries, and a copy of the local newspaper. Dale Pritchard, the older gentleman working the register that night, later told investigators she seemed perfectly normal. Maybe a little quiet, he said, but nothing that gave him pause, nothing that made him look twice. She paid, she left, and she walked out into the fog. The following morning, her car was found parked neatly in her driveway, engine cold. Mara Voss was never seen again. Nobody in Harlow Creek thought much of it at first. Mara's neighbor noticed her lights burning through the entire night, but the curtains never shifted once. Still, people minded their own business out there. It was only when Mara failed to show up at school the following morning that something felt genuinely wrong. She had never missed a single day without calling ahead. Not once. Sheriff Ray Caulfield drove out for a routine welfare check. What he found was quietly unsettling. The front door was unlocked. Every light in the house was on. A half-eaten dinner sat on the kitchen table, fork still resting beside the plate. The television was running in the living room, casting light across an empty couch. No signs of a struggle, no farewell note. Nothing broken, nothing taken. Just a life, paused mid-sentence, as though she had simply stepped out for a moment and never returned. Within hours of Sheriff Caulfield's welfare check, Harlow Creek mobilized entirely. Search parties fanned out through the surrounding woods, combing every trail and scanning the banks of Harlow Creek itself. Volunteers, neighbors, former students, the whole town turned out without being asked. By day 3, the scale of concern had grown enough that state police were called in to assist. The dogs gave investigators their most promising lead. A scent was tracked from Mara's back porch directly into the tree line behind her property. It held for roughly 200 yards before disappearing completely, right at the edge of an old logging trail that hadn't seen active use in over a decade. The trail stretched forward into dense, quiet timber, offering no clear direction, no physical evidence, and no certainty of any kind. Just trees and silence, and a trail that led nowhere anyone could follow. Among Mara's belongings, investigators found something that shifted the entire tone of the case. She kept a journal, consistently and regularly, the kind of habit that spoke to a disciplined, reflective person. Entries filled page after page, stretching back years. Investigators read through all of it, looking for anything, a name, a threat, a sign of distress. What they found instead was an ordinary life, documented in ordinary language. The entry from 3 days before she vanished mentioned grading papers and a recipe she had been meaning to try. Then came the final entry, dated the morning of October 14th, the very day she disappeared. It contained only 7 words. I think I finally understand what it wants. No context, no explanation. Nothing in the pages before it had pointed toward anything like that. Those 7 words arrived completely alone. Investigators turned their attention to the people closest to Mara Voss, hoping someone in her life might offer a thread worth pulling. Her parents had both passed years earlier. She had one brother living in Oregon, but he was estranged, and authorities ruled him out quickly. What remained was a small, quiet circle, a handful of friends in town, colleagues at the school, familiar faces from a life lived modestly and without drama. No romantic relationship anyone knew of. Those who worked alongside her described Mara as thoughtful and private, someone genuinely devoted to her students and her community. No one had a bad word to say. No disputes surfaced, no grievances, no tensions, no one who carried anything resembling a reason to wish her harm. And so the investigation kept returning to the same place, a blank wall, an absence of motive as complete and unsettling as her disappearance itself. But Mara's disappearance did not arrive into a complete silence. There were older stories in Harlow Creek, the kind that never made it into newspapers or official records. Old-timers spoke quietly about the woods on the east side of town, specifically the stretch that ran alongside the old logging trail. These were not stories anyone wrote down. They were passed from one generation to the next in low voices, usually indoors, usually in winter. People who had gone into those woods and come back different. People who had not come back at all. Investigators did find 2 documented disappearances from the 1960s, both officially ruled as accidents, both originating from roughly the same area. This narration does not offer those rumors as explanation. It simply notes that they existed long before October of 1997, and that the investigators working Mara's case were aware of them. 8 months after Mara Voss disappeared, the investigation quietly stalled. No new leads, no body, no confirmed evidence of foul play. Just silence where answers should have been. Sheriff Ray Caulfield stood before cameras in June of 1998 and delivered a brief press statement. By all accounts, he looked like a man who had not slept properly in months. The weight of it was visible, in his posture, in the pauses between his words. He said the investigation remained open. He said they had not given up. And then the cameras stopped rolling. A local reporter present that day later recalled what happened next. Caulfield walked out to the parking lot and simply stood there, alone, staring at nothing in particular. Not at his car, not at anything. Just standing in the open air for a long time before finally getting in and driving away. But there is one detail that never found an explanation, and it is the one that tends to stay with people longest. 3 weeks after Mara vanished, a maintenance worker performing routine checks on the town's water tower made an unusual discovery. On the narrow catwalk near the top, sitting undisturbed against the railing, was a single battery, still in its original packaging. From the same brand Mara had purchased at the general store on the night she disappeared. The packaging was completely intact. It had not been there during the previous inspection, conducted 2 weeks earlier. No one could explain how it got there. No one could explain who placed it there, or why anyone would. There were no signs that the tower had been accessed between checks. It was photographed, logged as evidence, and quietly filed away. No explanation was ever attached to it. Harlow Creek changed slowly, the way small towns do after something unresolved settles into them. Some families quietly packed up and left in the years that followed. The general store changed hands twice. The school where Mara taught her students eventually consolidated with a district school 20 miles out. Its hallways emptied and locked. The people who stayed rarely spoke her name in public, though those who had known her personally kept photographs. A face on a shelf. A reminder that ordinary evenings can end without explanation. The woods behind the east side of town remained largely unvisited, not by any official decree, but by unspoken agreement. The old logging trail was never formally closed. No signs were posted, no barriers placed, no one used it anyway. The town didn't forget Mara Voss. It simply learned over time to live alongside the not knowing. In 2011, 14 years after Mara Voss disappeared, the state assigned a cold case investigator named Patricia Hale to review the file. She spent 6 weeks going through every piece of evidence, every photograph, every interview transcript. She tracked down the few remaining witnesses still living in the area and spoke with them again. She filed a thorough, methodical report, the kind that leaves very little unexamined. Near the end of that report, in a footnote that reads almost like an afterthought, Hale noted that she had personally visited the site on the old logging trail where the search dogs lost Mara's scent back in 1997. She wrote that the area felt, in her words, unusually quiet. She did not elaborate on what she meant by that. She offered no further description, no context, no explanation. The case remained officially unsolved. Harlow Creek on a foggy October evening looks much the same as it always has. The streetlights blur at their edges, soft and smeared, like something seen through frosted glass. Sound carries differently in that kind of air. Voices travel farther than they should, then disappear without warning. It feels like a place that is listening. Mara Voss has been missing for over 25 years now. The journal, with its 7 words sitting alone on that final page, rests inside an evidence box in a state archive somewhere. Cataloged, sealed, unread by anyone in a very long time. And the old logging trail behind the east side of town. No one has ever gone back there after dark. Not once. Some places hold their secrets the way the fog holds the light. Completely. And without any intention of letting go.